This is a First Alert Weather Special Report.
And good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Williams.
And I'm Christine Johnson. Blizzard warnings are in effect, and so are travel bans across the tri-state area. Let's get a live look at the roads right now. The travel ban in New Jersey does not end until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And then the ban on non-essential travel in the city is in effect until noon tomorrow. For Long Island, it is 9 a.m., and in Westchester, it's 10 a.m.
The snow is starting to pile up around our area. The winds are picking up, and we have live team coverage. Let's begin, though, with Lonnie Quinn, and he's got your First Alert forecast. And Lonnie, it feels like we're covering an election night because we've been waiting for 9, 10 o'clock to arrive. We know that this is when the worst of it begins. How are you seeing things develop?
I think it's the same sort of thing. I think from now until 8 o'clock in the morning, that's sort of the real window I'm giving everybody for the worst of the storm. If I'm going to be as precise as I possibly can be, I think it's more like 11 p.m. to about 7 a.m. That's when the strongest winds are kicking in. Heaviest snowfall rate right now. Snow is coming down at a good clip. Now, if they were to shade this camera a little differently, you could see how big the snowflakes are. This is not a light, fluffy snow. It's the heavy, wet stuff out there. We've already picked up 6 inches of snow in Staten Island, in the city. Now, think about this. That's 6 inches of heavy, wet snow. So if this had been the light, fluffy stuff, this is coming in at probably more like 8 inches of snow for every 1 inch of rain. Whereas the last storm we had where it was really fluffy, that was almost 15 inches of snow for every inch of water. So if this was a light, fluffy snow, we'd have probably 10 inches already. Currently, 6 inches on the ground. There is going to be more to come, a lot more to come. Snow reports elsewhere. Manorville, New York, already you're at 8 inches. Freehold, New Jersey, 7.8. Central Merchants coming in at 7.5. Centerville, New Jersey, 6.5. Gravesend, Brooklyn, 6.1. Lake Success, New York, you're coming in at 5.1 inches of snow. Snowfall so far in Central Park for the entire season is 22.3. Average to this date would be 22.6. So for the first time in a while, we're a little bit behind average where we should be for our snowfall for the year. But with today's snow, and by the time you finish up your day on Monday, we're going to be going back to above average, okay? Trust me on that. Let's get right to it. So here you go. The dark blue that's stretching anywhere from the Connecticut shoreline around Stamford and, say, Darien, Westport, Connecticut, over to the north shore of Nassau County, and then across Brooklyn over into, like, boy, you're right around the Middlesex, Monmouth County line. That's the heaviest band we have right now. And National Weather Service has said that is coming down 2 inches per hour. So let's be real. You have 4 inches of a band like that. That's 8 inches right there. And I see this continuing all the way through the overnight hours. And this is something that I'm picking up on right now. Scott Padgett and I were talking about this, and Vanessa and Matt as well, back in the weather office. This is showing you water vapor, and this is dry air. So I usually look at a water vapor loop when I'm often talking to you about a tropical system, a hurricane, a tropical storm. But you can look at it in a snowstorm as well. That is dry air. If it's being infused into the storm itself, well, it can start to eat away some of that moisture that could potentially be falling. Let's go back here a little bit. You can start to see some of that. See where that dry air is being sucked into the storm, sort of decaying that edge right there? That should be coming down like banshees, right? Because that's so close to the center of the storm. It's not. It's pulling in some of that dry air. Does it get sucked in all the way into our area? Well, I can promise you this much. We are going to have our eye on that like a hawk. It would be helpful to lower the snow totals. If that happens, we're going to let you know. Right now, it's well offshore, but we watch that very, very carefully. Let's move forward, though, and show you how we see this progressing. So there's our center of circulation. It is offshore. It's going to be pushing to the east of Nantucket, which is right there. So it should be moving just like that all the while. Here we are, 9 p.m., perfect depiction of what's out there right now. Watch this. Here we go, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 5 in the morning. There's 8 o'clock in the morning. KJ, Doug, do you realize that's a pretty consistent snowfall the entire time? Now, you can tell by the different colors here, the striations of a light purple-blue color, the darker purple-blue color. The darker the color, the heavier the snow that is coming down right now, or that will be coming down at that point in time. But that's your picture at 8 a.m. It's still coming down, but the tail end is starting to erode, and by the time you get to, say, 5, 6 o'clock, you're pretty much done with this. The blizzard warning stays in effect until 6 p.m. So we keep our eye on all of that. I do want to talk about one thing. The amount of snow that we're talking about for New York City looks to be 12 to 18 inches, possibly clipping into maybe the portions of Staten Island or Brooklyn. Maybe you get into the 18 plus, 18 to 24 south and east of New York City, less the farther north you go. Last but not least, in terms of the coastal flooding, watch out for the high tide cycles. They are at 11 o'clock tonight for basically all of our beaches, and again at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So be careful there. I do think you're going to be talking about potentially 3 to 5 feet of inundation. And who's got more on all of this is my colleague, Vanessa Murdock, who's back in our AR/VR studio. And what can you tell us, Vanessa, about the very latest?
Well, listen, with regard to the coastal flooding, what's driving that is the wind, and it is going to be ramping up as we go through the next few hours as our nor'easter really takes shape and strengthens dramatically. So current wind gusts out there up to 37 miles per hour right now in Babylon. We have a 29-mile-per-hour gust in the city, 28 in Toms River. As we move through the overnight hours, these winds will be peaking 40, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. I want to break it down for you in our first alert futurecast model here regarding the wind gust. Notice as we push through time, 10, 11, 12, 2 o'clock in the morning, look at 50-mile-per-hour gust on the east end. Belmar at 45. Those winds are cranking out of the northeast at this point in time by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning as the strongest, heaviest snow is beginning to slowly wind down. We look at the east end. It's gusting to almost 60 miles per hour. We're still holding on to 30 to 40-mile-per-hour gusts in and around the city down the Jersey Shore. At noon, the story has only changed slightly. We're starting to see the wind slacken 20 to 35 miles per hour west of the city, but still powerful to the east. And by 5 p.m. tomorrow night, finally a reduction for many of us. But for the island, especially Suffolk County, those winds are still cranking through tomorrow evening. Wind's a major player in this storm. It will, of course, be driving not just the coastal flooding, but blizzard conditions as well. What makes a blizzard? How about falling or blowing snow? The winds have to be gusting or sustained 35 miles per hour or more and reducing visibility to a quarter of a mile or less for 3 hours or more. So that is what would be required to turn our blizzard warning into an actual blizzard. Those blizzard warnings are expansive across the region. As we look at the map on the floor, everybody in this burnt orange color is under a blizzard warning. So this is the Delmarva all the way up the Jersey Shore into Maine. Our blizzard warning happens to be in play through 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Because remember, those winds on the east end of the island, they may continue to drive reduced visibilities even after the snow has ended. So with the blizzard warnings in play, but noting we have yet to reach blizzard conditions tonight. When was the last time that we actually marked blizzards in and around the tri-state area? For the city, it was 2016. Blockbuster storm delivered the greatest snowfall totals for one storm in the city ever recorded. 27.5 inches then. In Newark, it was the same storm that delivered the last blizzard, 24.5 inches. And Islip, it was much more recently, January of 2022, you marked your most recent blizzard with 23.5 inches of snow. Now, we're talking about 12 to 18 inches for many, of course, close to the coast, bigger numbers, right? Possibly up to 2 feet. One factor that contributes to the possibility of those bigger numbers along the coastline is the possibility of thunder snow. Now, 2 to 3 inches per hour is what thunder snow can deliver, but at times it could be as high as 4 inches per hour. So we do expect a very slight chance of that happening for everybody highlighted in white. And the interesting thing about thunder snow is because of the snowfall, it muffles the sound of thunder. And unlike in the summer where that thunder can travel for miles, well, with regard to thunder snow, it only travels within a few miles. That's where you can hear it. So thunder snow possible tonight as the storm continues to intensify. When might we experience blizzard conditions? This particular model is saying 10 p.m. anywhere through 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. After that, conditions start to get a little bit improved, but it is still snowing all the way through mid-morning, at least tomorrow in the city, we think, until the afternoon before things start to wind down completely. With 32-degree temperatures, it will feel like the 20s and teens as the storm continues to crank. Doug and Christine, back to you.
So much to keep track of, Vanessa. So many weather terms that are being thrown around
Thunder
here
snow
tonight. Thunder, snow, blizzards, flooding. Thank you so much for explaining all of it. Appreciate it, Vanessa.